Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the desk. LJLOU here, bringing you the LJL action. We're covering the LJL 2021 Spring Split Playoffs Juggernaut match, game number 3. Detonation FocusMe facing off against Rascal Jesters and Initialize. 1-1. Your predictions are sadly incorrect now, but you mentioned to me off stream that you were hopeful that this might be the difference between the head and what the heart want.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there was always a world where Justice turned up to play and Soul and Secret got to pump out some damage like this and made it a 3-2. And that's where it gets a bit spicy. I wonder whether we're kind of potentially on track for that, actually. It's been a couple games now where it's been early snowball into a bit of a stall, into a complete blowout. I think there was less stalling this game from DFM. They still managed to get some good farm onto Ebby and Aria, but Sol just had so much gold, and DFM just had such limited options to keep him down. The cleanse was really helpful for him, and yeah, he just got to run over the game, and if he gets to do that another couple games, then things get difficult, especially if Kazu in lane gets punished going in a bit too aggressively.
You want to know something crazy about these two games? Do you want to know something actually kind of crazy?
Sure.
To the second, these two games were matched. 28 minutes,
Real?
4
That's
seconds.
insane.
I don't know if that's ever happened in a professional series before. We might have just witnessed history in the making.
You're actually correct. That is mental. And if you're looking at the goal graphs, they're practically the same as well.
Exactly.
That's mental.
What an occurrence to happen here during this series, and this is during the Juggernaut match. We will get to see both these teams regardless of the winner or loser here, and I think it's important that we mention that here. The winner of this match will go straight into the finals as the top seed, regardless of how it started here. If Rascal Jester win this, they become the top seed, and if Detonation FocusMe make it back to the finals, because the loser of this matchup, regardless of who it is, will drop down into our semi-finals matchup, where the winner of V3 Esports versus Sengoku Gaming, which is next week, ladies and gentlemen, which we'll come at you live with, that winner will face off against the loser of this matchup. So you always have a second opportunity for a rematch here. And where has this matchup been so divisive initialized? It has to be where we were highlighting on, and in this bot lane, Utapon and Sol both playing Ezreal, both picking up wins. Potentially, should we see a ban of the scholar, the man who believes you should belong in a museum if you're anybody besides him?
Yeah, it was that, and then the problem was the response was poke from DFM, and no way to disengage from a Hecarim and a Gragas running at you, and a Camille. Like, there's no way you survive that as a Varus. Like, it's a nightmare.
I said it on the cast while we were watching the pick and ban phase. Why did that Zoe come out, right? Like, I get what they're trying here, but like you can still pick the Varus there and then have the versatility of either one or the other. The moment you see that Camille, though, you have to feel pretty sad. And the fact that they still locked in the Varus versus a Camille, a little bit awkward. But you know what we are, Initialize? It's the pick and ban phase.
We are into picks and bans indeed. And the thing is, Arya Zoe is really good. I get it. He pretty much solo won the last game, even though game 1. I understand. I really do. He's very, very good at the champion. So, like, there is a reason for that. That said, they're back onto blue, and we'll see what the response is. I suspect we might not see another poke comp from DFM unless they feel like they just played it badly. And of course, the early snowball didn't help, and, you know, you do need to have vision control, etc., etc. But, we are back in. Senna and the Gnar ban from DFM. They did that game 1. They are returning to those game 1 bans. I wonder whether Jesters might return the favor with returning their game 1 bans as well. Twisted Fate away from Aria.
We're seeing some repeats coming out from both these teams. Obviously, Aria is one of the few mid laners to actually really pioneer Twisted Fate Fate here outside of him. We actually saw it go completely unbanned in the V3 Hawks matchup. Neither of the mid laners particularly famous for that, though Ace does play a lot of these roaming champions, not a particular connoisseur of Twisted Fate. Hecarim is taken off. The FM banning their Nart and also the Seraphine. I guess they're just really worried about how some of the order can go, and they immediately lock in the Udyr, considering Hecarim was banned away.
Yeah, it makes sense. That, of course, there is still the Skarner available, which has been Hatchemet's go-to in response a lot of times, especially now that Hecarim is banned. Olaf's still available, so I could see that being an option. And Rascal Jester's debating going for a Thresh plus AD carry lane. Likes of Jinx and Aphelios come to mind, both of which I would be very excited to see Sol on.
Obviously, though, that does mean Rel is still open, and Rel versus Thresh is a matchup we've been seeing a lot of. Obviously, Gragas has been 100% present so far through this, but we'll yet to see if we believe they are the winning cure, as he's currently 50-50 here. It is going to be that Jinx, as we were expecting, and that's why I was just padding some time out, because anything else, I think, would have been a little concerning, as obviously DetonatioN FocusMe could have taken the pick away. It's going to be the Jinx. Gragas is being hovered, and I'm trying to think which carry might get going alongside them. Oh, wait.
What do you know? 3 games in a row, Gragas Ezreal locked in 2-3 on blue. Rascal Jester, of course, have got the response here. It's not going to be anything like a Varus or the first game, which, of course, was the Kai'Sa into it. It's a bit different. Jinx can match Ezreal to some extent, I suppose, with the rocket poke, even if it costs you a little bit more mana. And definitely have to see what the responses is. Still probably looking for a jungler, I imagine, are the Jesters. And there is the Skarner we talked about earlier.
And that was the okay from Recap. Just going, yeah, this is exactly what you want. Yeah, okay, Hachimechi, all right, let's go for this. The only Japanese jungler in the region yelling to all, saying, hey, who needs to import? I'm still here. Papa Mecha, as we have called him occasionally, due to, obviously, congratulations on having his child. Bans coming through now. Aatrox taken away from Ebby. And it was actually Kanatu's best champion in Scouting Grounds, got multiple wins on it. I was hopeful to maybe start seeing an Aatrox as there were a few fun facts for Kanatu to recall upon, but without the Aatrox, a bunch of those aren't there. Recap, never allowed to see a Zilean.
Yeah, what would make Jinx even more irritating? More ways to keep Jinx alive, and Recap is also just a very good Zilean. Remember, I believe they played into DFM and ruined their day. They'll ban away the Nocturne as well. Likely from Ebby, because again, top lane Nocturne with Stridebreaker at the minute is just silly. Again, expletives must be kept off cast, but you get the point. We've got one final ban for DFM. I wonder whether it will be another mid lane focus. It is indeed. Getting rid of that Orianna, another way to speed up that Skarner and make him even more obnoxious. And something else that's been rising in priority is, of course, that Urgot, which was hovered there, and it is locked in for Kinatu.
Wow. Okay, so we have not seen Kanatu bring this Urgot out. I am now frantically trying to check. I have recall memories that this is actually a pick from Scouting Grounds.
Okay.
I am now going to do this, but oh, that would be a very...
Oh my days, it's locked in!
Arya? Okay.
Arya on Kiana. I am so ready.
This Gragas has also been locked in, and Kazu is going to be playing Alistar, meaning this Gragas is going topside for Ebby.
Yeah. I mean, you can top yourself up, so it's harder for Urgot to reach the execute threshold, I guess. Ebby's played a lot of tank Gragas over the last few patches and weeks, so that makes sense on that front as well. But it's this Kiana in mid lane that is such a big deal. The response is Lissandra to set up for this Jinx and for this Skarner. So much CC of that mid-jungle duo, and Arya's going to have to play this real close to the wire if he wants to get through all of that close-range CC.
Kiana will make everybody bend the knee. Lissandra is going to be the response for Recap, and now I'm kind of not expecting this. Obviously, we did see the Kiana be picked up over in the LEC for the Mad Lions, but that was more of a fun game. That wasn't serious. It wasn't even who you would really expect to see everything. Obviously, that was Humanoid playing that out for them. No, it wasn't. It was Yoya, who was role swapping to play the Kiana. So not really a champion any of us were expecting to see here. And now I'm wondering where we're going with this. This is probably going to be a Prowler's Claw, I have to imagine. So we're going to be seeing full Assassin Kiana come out, but what a ton of events. And I love how this Gragas is just going up against this Urgot. I mean, hey, if you want to go against anything, hey, go Giga Tanky, have some poke to kind of nullify and have the wave clear. And Kazu on this Alistair is a pretty good folly for what they want to offer. They always had the opportunity to swap in and they knew what they had to play against. And I actually really like how DFM have done this, though Rascal Jester's lineup does look very scary.
Yeah, and Kiana could have a really... I mean, Kiana's basically whole job here is, can I murder Jinx? That could be difficult when you're trying to get through a Thresh, through Lissandra, and of course the Glacial Frozen Tomb. Of course, I don't remember what that ultimate was for a second. Ring of Frost, through the Skarner as well. Like, she's gonna need a QSS real early if she wants to get to that Jinx. I mean, if she can get there, then all well and good. But Arya is gonna have to pull out a real good game here because he's got a lot to navigate on this Kiana.
Well, we haven't seen Kanatu play this champion before.
Could be in real trouble here.
Ooh, oh god, he's such an awkward spot. They don't know he's there. Oh, Ebby.
Here comes Ebby around the corner. They're going to come around. He's just going to be there. There's the body slam. Going to get so much damage. Knocked up, knocked down. First blood to Ezreal. We've seen this a few times this series. Ezreal's with a lead. Win the game.
28 minutes and 4 seconds to go. 20.
If it's another 28 minutes and 4 seconds game, it's going to be rigged. The script writers have been pulling all the anime tropes out this series already.
I mean, I saw his face and I'm a believer. I definitely would be singing, would there be... Oh, what a performance from Ebby going body slam. That can cause you a lot of awkward situations. The emote game coming out, they waited for so long. They even placed the wards down and go, Kazu, you go first. Make sure they go for it. And then so much chain CC comes out. First blood. And as you mentioned, Utapon getting that kill was the worst person on the side because look at what he's got. He's got a tier. He's going to be tier stacking immediately. That's awful.
That's really scary because the moment he gets Muramana, he's going to get it so much earlier because of how early he gets that tier, right? It's not even like he's waiting for it back. It's just from lane to begin with. It does mean that Jesters, of course, get a little bit earlier on into the lane. They'll get the shove early on, but that gold injection early is brilliant for DFM, and that potentially sets the game up in a very difficult position. It skews things to these level 1s plays. It skews things when Ezreals get early kills and can start stacking like that. It's no real surprise. But the Jesters still have ways to play. Skarner and Lissandra is so much lockdown. They have so much CC. They can definitely make the life of Utapon or Arya really difficult. QSSs are nearly a must for these two carries just because of the amount of CC they have to deal with.
Yeah, but this is part of what we haven't even mentioned because this is where we found ourselves halfway through this game. We've got a Kiana. Arya has a 75% win rate on this Kiana. We haven't seen it. Obviously, the last we saw... Ooh, as Recap's getting a lot of trading action, but the Electrocute proc coming out, huge damage going. We only saw it once in 2020. Sadly, it was a loss against the Jesters. Well, that was when he was a part of Crest Gaming Axe, so a little different. That was versus Soroka mid, so it was a slightly different metagame going on there. However, he did pick up multiple wins when he was known as Luna, playing this Kiana with Crest Gaming Act in 2019. Whoa, these trading patterns. Arya definitely hasn't lost the muscle memory, and it's going to put Recap in an awful spot now.
Yeah, it's a difficult position. Does, of course, have the teleports. Will at least get back to lane relatively easily. But got to keep an eye on this Udyr coming down as well. Salt and Secret in so much danger. They've got a lantern, but it's going to be no hope, no way for Secret, who walks away. They'll give the final kill over to Utapon. That's 2 onto this Ezreal early. Steel doesn't get involved, but, well, actually, he does get involved somehow. Oh, of course, from First Blood. I apologize.
Oh, yeah.
But he doesn't get involved in that one, but it doesn't really matter. His work there is done. And at least Sol survives without burning summoners. That's at least something for the side of Rascal Jesters. But this Ezreal off to the races in a very scary position.
Hey, you don't have to do anything else for the side of Detonation FocusMe. If you can just stack kills on Utapon, he has been proven in this series alone that he will gladly carry the team. If you guys play the front line, I will do the damage. And 2 kills, 4 minutes into this game, you've got to be feeling really comfortable if you're Detonation FocusMe. You're going to have priority on this bot side. Dragon is coming up in 30 seconds. It's going to be a Mana one, so we're going to see a change of pace here. It won't be a Mana Rift, won't be Infernal Rift 50-50 this time around. We might be seeing something a little bit different, and I could go for a Cloud Drake because Detonation FocusMe have an Udyr, and they'll be more than happy with this. However, Skarner is very happy to also go brr brr and go fast.
Kinatu taking some trades with Ebby, gets the disdain to get out of that body slam. Nice little trade back from Kinatu, who had been a little bit lower before that, but Ebby's got a lot of consumables in inventory, so going to feel fairly happy. Hachimecha might have to be a little afraid of steel here, in fact, and Phoenix Dance has dropped and loses most of his little Krugs there. Control Ward in the bush will force Kinatu away as well. Steel just being so obnoxious. And that's actually a fairly big deal.
Well, they're doing this because Arya's off vision. They have no idea. They just have to keep respecting, because at any moment, Arya could just pop out a bush, flash, ignite, and go on. They think he has 6 as well. So there's so much kill pressure. Look, that's how obnoxious Steel was being. He was playing as if someone was there. No one was there initialized. What an awkward debacle. And, oh, recap, I feel sorry for you, sir.
When he hits level 6, he'll have a couple more options, of course. And he's not that far away. Check out that experience bar, bottom left corner of your screen. Needs like a minion, maybe 2 to hit that mark. But, of course, Arya's got it already, so he, too, could look for the engage. Hachimecha's around, but there's the level 6. And that's going to make kill threat from Arya a lot lower now.
Yes, because Recap will be able to protect himself at any moment when he really believes Arya will be able to do it. But we've seen Arya gladly chunk him down with his Electrocute 1-2-3 combo, gets it down onto Recap. If you do that once or twice, it doesn't matter if you have an ultimate to save yourself, Recap. The damage could just be bursted out, and Steel is actually already doing some scouting and finding out where Hachimecha is. And guess what's up? Free Dragon for the side of DFM.
They'll put down a control ward, take out that ward in the river. They're thinking about going for that Drake. Udyr does exactly that, though, of course. Hachimecha is around, so could potentially look to try and come over and steal, but there's pressure in mid, there's pressure in bot. Lyssandra's not there, doesn't have teleport. Neither does Kinatu. Ebby, of course, still does have his teleport after getting the assist in forcing Kinatu away from the wave in topside, so it'll just be this early Drake stack from Steel. And DFM take that one very happily for themselves, and Steel just gets to wander over and take this Scuttle Crab as well, which spawned conveniently on the bot side of the river.
I believe we got a very quick preview of the side that it's going to be an Infernal Drake number 2, so we will see some fighting in 5 minutes. Herald is going to be up soon, and this is where the next big play will be around. At the moment, DFM are pushing in this bot side, which is going to make resetting and playing around this Rift Herald that will be spawning for the Jesters. They might just have to give it over to the side of DFM if they can't get any form of priority, and they can't unlock Secret from this bot lane to match Kazu's roam, which will be coming out soon enough, I have to imagine. Meaning that obviously Ebby and Kinatu currently has the 1 level lead, though Bramblevest being there pretty much nullifies a lot of the damage now that Kinatu will be putting out onto Ebby on this Gragas. And look at that, there's a huge wave there. We can tell Ebby will be taking over to 6, and Secret, Steel is here to match Hachimecha.
For much to happen. Steel's going to maybe think about stepping forward to staying away from Kinatu. Ebby took a little bit more damage than he was hoping for from those minions, but of course those Draggers can drink his sorrows away and at least top his health bar up with some liquid courage, so he'll be feeling all right about that. Claw does go wide and Recap doesn't go in on that. And we're kind of left with, again, an early snowball from DFM here, about 1,000 gold, but not too much more to write home about. Box comes out from Secret, and they've got the level 6 advantage, forcing Kazu away, flashing in to try and get some more. Don't get much more out of it, flash for flash from this bot lane. Well,
but because they weren't able to unlock Secret from that, and yes, it was peculiar, as I was calling for Kazu to be unlocked. The reason is because he didn't have that level 6, and also because Arya was just able to push the lane up. They have the wave clear. They can just kind of threaten that. The side of Rascal Jester kind of have to just sacrifice it over. A second rift, a second neutral objective going over to the going over to Detonation FocusMe, and Rascal Jesters are just slowly falling a little bit further and further behind. 1k gold lead is currently there for Detonation FocusMe, and if they can find something in the future, they definitely can throw it even further in the momentum. As I mentioned, it is going to be an Infernal Drake for the next one, and Detonation FocusMe would gladly pick that one up.
I absolutely would, but of course Jesters will be relatively online at that point. You can see it's been the arm guard rush for Recap to make sure he's a little bit more safe in this game, because of course it's AD mid, AD bot, and the only real AP threat is of course this Gragas, who's going to be mostly tank. So early armor stacking, very valuable for the Jesters, all honesty. But Ezreal, 2 kills already in his back pocket, got himself an Essence Reaver nice and early. He's going to be very, very scary in this game. So, we've got a little while until this Infernal Drake. No timer yet on the board.
First item, though, has been completed, and that's an Essence Reaver over on Utapon. So he is item spiked, and it would be more than happy to fight Soul, or to be honest, anybody on the side of the Jesters, as he's just going to be significantly more powerful, though Hachimetra on this Skarner would gladly grab him, given an opportunity.
Yeah, I think Thresh might need to come and save him. There's the headbutt away. They're going to get the trample and the pulverize. Lots of damage from Utapon over the wall, trying to get damage, and Utapon just gets a 3rd kill of the game for himself. He is 100% of the kills for DFM, and he gladly takes Hachimetra on a very ill-advised solo invade into DFM's jungle.
And this was exactly what I was mentioning earlier. He would gladly meet anybody on the side of Rascal Jesters, and they're looking for more.
In trouble. That's going to be the headbutt pulver steals here as well. Lots of damage coming through. Q's coming through for the side of Utapon. Gets that kill. Utapon now trying to get away. Recaps in a spot of bother. Used the ultimate, not got the kill. Sol going to look for the ultimate. Doesn't need it. Just starting to fire the rockets. But he is excited. It's a 1-for-1 right now. Utapon has to back away from the subjugation of Recap. But actually, Arya's going to come down and get a kill for himself. It's a 2-for-1 for DFM in the end. Ebby and Kanatu trading in the top side. Not going to get too much yet, but that's just a decent estate now. Ebby's in a spot of bother. Does have the cast to maybe get out, but needs to be afraid of the potential kill threat. Throws that cask out. Does get away with the body slam. May need to flash, but it's just going to be an impale into what looks to be a very easy fear beyond death. Sol on the bot side, though. Gets a lantern and gets out in the bot side. Arya is around, but won't be able to get over the wall. But Sol stays alive after Secret respawns. That's a 2-for-2 now overall across the map. But Utapon will get a lot of plates after the Herald Summon bot.
Yeah, huge amount of plays that have just come out, and Soul and Utapon and Secret are going to keep this fighting. Kazu is coming around the side, and he's going to be looking for this. Arya is here as well.
Been there. Just another kill to Arya. He's going to get a walkout as well. He'll take 3 turret shots to his name, but he won't take a 4th. And that's pretty easy. 4-0-2 for Ezreal, 2-0-1 for Arya, and the snowball is starting. Kinatu at least has a kill and got something in this top side, but Ebby's going to be just fine as this Gragas right now. Prowler's Claw compete for Arya. First turret goes the way of Utapon, steals onto the second Drake of the game, Cloud or Ocean as the Soul, and we'll see this replay one more time. Kazu's like, Hachimetra walked across the wall to get here, Lexi.
This is how this whole play even started. Remember a few minutes ago when I was saying Utapon would gladly meet anybody? That was only 2 auto attacks with 1 empowered Q with the Essence Flux empowered through the W. And because of how this set up, they just always had a person advantage, but we won't be having an opportunity because the Jesters are hooking.
But they won't find too much more than that. Arya took a little bit of a chunk, but is not dead, of course. And back onto the Rift, it's about 2,000 gold lead to DFM right now, and it's on some very juicy characters in a Kiana and an Ezreal. A supreme display of talent indeed from Arya thus far. Chem tank in for this Udyr, and I'm kind of left waiting for the next big fight. Herald up in about 1:30 might be the next option, unless someone gets caught out of position.
But we are going to be on this Cloud Rift. Now, this is going to definitely affect. Now, obviously, Steel is more than happy with this. Obviously, Udyr does get empowered, and lowering the cooldown of your auto attacks means you can just spam Bear Slap and become an absolute machine when you're running around the Rift. Obviously, it allows Ebby and specifically Kazu also to just be faster menaces. It will make Utapon far more difficult to find, and Arya will be more than happy to be able to jump, dip, dive, and throw wrenches, or I guess more just a huge blade at people as Steel's coming in for a gank.
This is difficult. He's got to work out what he's going to do with his ultimate. They're just throwing so much damage down already. Hachimecha is here, though, and they've got to be afraid, of course, of the Impale until the Edge of Ixtal comes forward and gets Recap pretty dangerously low. A Flash and Ignite or a Supreme Display of Talent would probably be the end of Recap, but
Utapon didn't
with all the CC.
Utapon didn't I wanted the Utapon ult from the Ezreal there to just try and find more, but even with the amount of advantages that Detonation FocusMe have, they weren't able to get the tower plates. They were still beaten out by Rascal Jester in this one, and this has definitely been a bit of a trend of this series.
They've got first turret at least, which is a big one. So you take that, and of course that was kind of the trade for the Dragons, right? Is a little bit more turret pressures. The fact you still get first turret with all that is great news. If you're a DFM fan, they are now over 2,000 gold lead. And you can see where the goal difference is. It's once again a 2k lead for an Ezreal, a solo in the bot lane, and a little bit of advantage in the top lane in trade.
Yeah, we've seen this happen before, and last time this happened, it caused a bit of awkward situations for the enemy side. Rascal Jesters are now on the receiving end. However, this time, they do seem to have the turret advantage going slightly their favor, and part of this is just the pure power that Kinatu is offering this team.
That was an attempt with the Mega Death Rocket to steal away the Herald. Won't do so. 83% chance for DFM to win. That's because double Herald, double Drake, and 6 kills to 2 is a lot. Ebby could be in trouble here, though. Gets impaled. Didn't want to bother using his body slam yet. Has got his flash. It's going to be too low. He's just dead. No chance out there. Kinatu gets that kill on Hachimecha, and this Urgot syncing up so well. And Ebby, nothing in inventory really to stop that from happening quite yet. Yes, he's by his tier 2 in bot lane, but doesn't really get much going on from that, and does help even up the gold a little, actually, honestly, getting another kill there. It'll come at the cost probably of this mid lane tier 1, which does bring them back in. In goes Steel, who tried to get something more. Arya looking for a bit of a flank. Hachimecha is here, but without the Impale is a lot less scary as far as a Scorpion goes. Kinatu, though, got a turret in bot lane because of everything that went on. So actually the gold still stays real even now. That's kind of halved DFM's gold lead back down even to just a few hundred from that 2,000 mark. Great stuff from the Jesters.
Yeah, Kinatu is slowly finding up a fair bit of gold and is definitely causing issues. They have back-to-back done the exact same play onto Ebby, having Hachimecha come in, do a few auto attacks, ult, and force Ebby into a huge wave of their own minions, meaning the body slam won't be able to get him away from this. He hasn't been able to use his flash at an opportunistic moment, and because of that, Kinatu has been able to ult and put in awkward time. It's why the proximity is currently 10%, whereas Steel's barely looked at Ebby. They did try that one gank, and because they weren't able to get the kill, they thought, hey, let's just have it focus more on this mid and bot side. It's been playing out rather well for Detonation FocusMe, though this mid game has been slightly more Rascal Jester favored, if it's only for Hachimecha and Kinatu finding opportunities and really keeping Rascal Jester in this game, because a large amount of their gold quote-unquote lead would be in this top side.
We said that, we haven't had a chance to mention it yet, but it was a Muramana transformation for Utapon.
Oh, God.
15 minutes. It was very, very early on, so he is absolutely ready and raring to go in this team fight, which will be happening around this Cloud Drake. Recap is on a flank, but so is Arya. Both are pretty damn scary, but Arya possibly in a more dangerous position here. Just be careful who he face checks or who face checks him. He's going to have Hachimecha run into him. He needs to maybe find his way over the wall, but he's going to find Recap. They just get stunned in place. It's just going to go down. The dragon goes down. Fear Beyond Death comes through, but that's a good Supreme Talent, even through the ult. Now Recap's in danger, but gets over with the Frozen Claw, the Glacial Path, so it's a kill over for the dragon. They're at soul point, but Arya on the flank probably gets flanked himself. Gonna try and find a hook here. Steel gets something, but it's onto Kazu. Hachimecha goes really low. That is more damage coming through. Kinatu gets hooked back out. Soul gets pushed back in. Ebby trying to get out. Utapon throwing out a lot of damage as well. Recap at the back end of the fight. Kazu survives the Mega Death Rocket. And Utapon with the True Shot Barrage gets something back. Ebby healing up. Steel's coming back around the corner.
Recap's in
danger. Has to flash away. Steel going forward, trying to get something. Those corrosive charges from Kinatu can hurt if they hit. But in the end, it is a 1-for-1. Utapon at the back end of the fight picks up one, and Recap flashing away from that body slam critically to make sure it wasn't more.
big how extended that team fight was, and the fact that Utapon was able to just keep throwing out these Qs. A Cloud Drake will do that sometimes, and having an ultimate coming down even quicker for this Ezreal, he'll just be able to spam it out if they claim this soul. Arya obviously gets caught out. Wasn't expecting a recap there, but getting the pure display of perfection.
Supreme display of talent, my friend.
Oh, talent. Oh, she's talented. She's not just perfect. I thought Kiana was even more a bit nepotism, but hey, it's okay. The fact that Utapon is still, look at this, untouched, is able to just kind of throw a Q, throw an auto, and somehow the fact that Detonation FocusMe don't lose another member, it's rather unfortunate here that he only is able to just clip Secret there, but still, you take one, better than nothing there, and it's just such an elongated team fight. It really just starts throwing into Utapon's favor. The fact that they can just keep throwing it, they will always have the ability to keep going, and now Rascal Jester have to find that. Look at the amount of damage that this Ezreal outputted.
Yeah, and Arya even getting that supreme display of talent off was pretty helpful at the beginning of that fight as well. And a couple critical flashes down there. Hachimecha not down, is down here. So is Sol. So is Recap. They are very vulnerable, these characters at this point. And Hachimecha needs to be a bit afraid as well. Speaking of course, he's on his Spire, so it's a lot quicker than normal. Arya just around this top side, going to try and get a hold of this tower if he can, but not that easy to walk up to Alessandra under tower, it turns out. And Baron up in 2 seconds would be a bold start for DFM. The goal is dead even right now. The difference, of course, for DFM is that they do have the soul point. Just a bit of a win condition. Kinatu with the frozen Frostfire Gauntlet. I apologize that we haven't called it Frozen Fist. It's been a little while since that's been an item. Upgraded from the Iceborne Gauntlet was the Ornn upgrade from last season, so completely wrong. Either way, he's going to continue shoving down there. He is a lot of the gold right now for the Jesters. He is where a lot of the pressure comes through, but it's not going to be that easy for him in team fights unless he can find someone to really dive into. But with this damage that Ezreal has right now, it could be really, really dangerous. And DFM's going to start up this Baron, try and force Rascal Jester to come over and contest. Steel and Kazu just starting it off nice and early. Utapon with the QSS third, I think, is wise to keep himself alive. He's got a cleanse as well, so he's going to be very, very difficult to hold down for Rascal Jesters, considering they've gone for whole pick CC comp. Still a little away from second item is Sol, who is a ways behind because of just the amount of gold that's gone the way of Utapon.
As we come into this, it's just Rascal Jesters kind of playing around the vision that Detonation FocusMe have. They know that they can threaten this Baron, and if Rascal Jesters ever kind of go a little bit too far in, there could be a Gragas that comes around the corner. There could be a Bear Slap that comes out of nowhere. Or there could just be a true display of talent that appears out of a bush, and before you know it, you're stunned, knocked up, CC chained because Alistair came out and knocked you up, and you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. Famous words have never been more true in this match, and in 50 seconds, we could be finding out if Detonation FocusMe get the soul point, or if Rascal Jester are able to play around. Let's have a quick look at the lane state. Top lane is currently pushing in for the Jesters. Hopefully Detonation FocusMe can at least push that out, though it doesn't actually look like they'll have time. Arya is going to this bot side, going to at least get it into an even spot. Kinatu is pushing towards this top side. I wonder, is this the first factors of us seeing if the Jesters are going to try and commit to a top lane push and only see if they have an opportunity to prevent this soul point? It is Cloud Soul, but at the same time, you don't really want to just give that over to Rascal Jesters without having an opportunity to prevent it. 15 seconds in, and there doesn't seem to be a movement happening particularly quickly. Kanatu is still staying onto this top side, and Detonation FocusMe might get this.
He's going to get jumped on. Takes a lot of damage, but actually managed to get off the green. Ultimate. Gets streamed to value of talent as well. So much damage down. Arya probably needs to back and get over the wall fast he can, and needs to avoid the fear beyond death. It does miss. Now Steel, and of course, Ebby in the backside gets much damage as they can. Unipon gets Hachimecha. Kinatu throwing out so much damage, though. Recap gets Ebby, but Utapon hopping forward, so much damage in trade. It's Solvo that's running wild until Arya gets him, well, with the help of Utapon. Another Edge of Ixtal claims another, and Utapon is firing away 3 for 2 in favor of DFM. Big shutdowns come through. Sol tries to get something. It's not enough. And at least Kinatu gets out of the life, does not give over the gold, but DFM will get Cloud Soul, and they earn themselves the fight as well.
They absolutely do, and what an absolute machine gun. I have to agree with you, Utapon was. Though Aria started this playoff probably not in the way they wanted to by face checking, going for this ward control, and Recap and Achimechi going, oh, perfect, we found the man we absolutely wanted. Though, without being able to get on Vision, the supreme display of talent, and now Kinatu comes in. This looks actually pretty good for the side of Rascal Jesters, because they go, hey, we can get Steel, let's kill him. Problem is, they aren't able to get everything, and it was Ebby all along. Flash in and out, and look at that double knockup from Kinatu. It really forces Rascal Jester into this awkward choke point, and yes, they get the cow down, but because of the amount of damage that Aria still offers, just getting that kill as well, and Utapon is just left alone this whole time. While Kinatu is able to start doing the damage, 5k damage out from Utapon kind of decides a lot of the team fight.
Hey, yes it does. 5k at 24 minutes. He got the early first blood. He has run away with it a little bit from there. Cloud Soul is DFM's. They're in a very dangerous position. And Jesters are struggling in these extended team fights. Yes, Soul can go wild, but the problem is, Utapon is still putting out more damage than him. If he ever walks up towards Aria, he will die. Serpent's Fang was the item choice second as well, which invalidates the Lantern from Thresh, invalidates the Locket. You're looking at Hachimesh as well, who got that, of course, that exoskeleton he can pull on with his ability. So that hurts him as well a little bit as well, and it does make things quite difficult. Disdain Shield as well from Kinatu makes a lot of sense, honestly, for the Serpent's Fang second in my eyes. Gonna see potential Baron consideration from DFM. Kinatu caught out a little bit here. Gonna get run out. Doesn't have that much tankiness. He's gone pure damage, and the supreme display of talent is all that's required to get a shutdown onto Aria.
This is the man that is currently got a huge amount of the gold on the side of Rascal Jesters. There was a huge amount of effort thrown into Kinatu to actually be one of the carries to offer opportunities for Rascal Jesters to actually stay in this game. When everything was going bad in mid and bot side with Recap struggling to farm, with the same time Aria just rotating around the map with Soul and Secret not getting the amount of kills, and Utapon becoming an absolute monster who's currently sitting at 7, 4, and 7. That sounds rather familiar to the stats that Steel had in their MVP performance versus the Jesters in that all the way back in week 1, but this is on a carry Ezreal, and he can go so much further. They're starting this Baron, and the Jesters kind of have to just watch it happen.
So much of their gold. Soul at least got 2 items, picked that up just before the last fight as well, but Kazu's just going to try and play Gatekeeper best he can. Hachimechi is here. Ebby gets hooked, but I don't think that's the person you really want to hit. Kazu goes in, so does Ebby. Trying to get onto Recap, who's so damn low, just goes down! He's dead! Now Hachimechi is going to get something with the Impale. Kinatu is here as well, gets Steel into a dangerous position. Aria gets onto that Skada. The Scorpion is dead, and the Supreme Display is down from across the wall! It's a double for Ezreal, and I think Aria gets a lot as well. Secret gets a hook, but it's just style points. Not gonna get anything else. Supportal combat is what you're facing right here. Kazu gonna continue chasing this Thresh best he can. Gonna walk around the corner for Secrets to try and do as much as he can. Because all the while, DFM say, screw the Baron. We'll just start shoving through mid.
Why not? Absolutely. I mean, Kazu is struggling to find Secret here, and it's pretty awkward, but now it does feel a little bit like that. Oh my god, what is going on? What is
nice
that?
to try to pull the death sentence over the wall. The minion's actually not enough. Kazu headbutts him well, gets the kill. That's a very delayed kill. Recap is here, but I don't think it's going to get all that much. Gets a fair amount of damage onto Aria, actually. The Edge of Exile comes through, and Aria needs to be really afraid of Hachimechi. We can't really afford to be there. He's got, of course, grass there, the terrain. Ebby also very low, but the Baron does go across to DFM, playing with fire.
Oh.
A 7 Utapon.
Fire?
Get a kill anyway. That's some style points. All right, DFM, I see you.
I think it was Recap that was playing with fire, because at any opportunity, the moment that Baron went down, immediately Utapon looked over and asked, is this kill for me? The damage that Utapon can output is seemingly limitless at this point in time. Kazu playing goalkeeper here, as you mentioned, and the moment they get the opportunity, they just absolutely go for it. And the fact that ultimates are just always up for DFM, even after extended team fights, it causes so many issues. The fact that Aria is able to get so far forward, make sure they get the kill on Hachimechi, but we're in another fight.
That's Ebby and Kazu trying to go in. Kinatu's doing a lot of work in the backside. Sophia Beyond Death, though, is good. But look, Sol's already dead. That's so much of your late game damage, so much of your team fight damage. They're all falling one after another. Utapon showing Sol how it's done. Oh, my days, Aria absolutely ruins recap in mid as well. And that'll be game, Lexi. There's no way, no hope. 13-0-7 goes Utapon. I think Ezreal probably needs not to go to either of these AD carries.
Absolutely, I agree. It's 28 minutes, but it's not 4 seconds.
It's about 30 seconds too late, but it's close enough. DFM and Rascal Jester clapping right back and forth, but it will be DFM moving to 2 and 1. Utapon got first blood, and kind of lights out from there. That Ezreal was a thing of, well, I said beauty last time for Sol. I'm trying to think of a more superlative word this time out. Exquisite beauty. We'll double it up. There we go.
Maybe a pure display of talent coming from Utapon there. What an exceptional performance, and what a clapback from these two games. It's flip-flop and it's action-packed, central initialized. I can barely keep my head on.
I know, but you'll have to keep your head on because we've got to break down this this game in a moment or two, because we'll be back after this break to talk about this game on an analyst desk.
Wanna join me? Come and play, but I might shoot you in your face. Bombs and bullets will do the trick. What we need here is a little bit of panic. Do you ever wanna catch me? Right now I'm feeling ignored. So can you try a little harder? I'm really getting bored. Come on, shoot faster. Just a little bit of energy. I wanna try something fun right now. I guess some people call it dynamite. Let's blow this city to ashes and see what Papa thinks. It's such pathetic neatness, but not for long 'cause you'll get jinxed. So much better, so much fun. Let's start from scratch and blow up the sun. Come on, shoot faster. Just a little bit of energy. I wanna try something fun right now. I guess some people call it dynamite. Let's blow this city to ashes and see what Papa thinks. It's such pathetic neatness, but not for long 'cause you'll get jinxed.
Hello, welcome back to the desk where we have discovered that Kiana has now got her second win in international play, if you look at major regions and wildcard regions, joining the LLA with that second victory from Aria. But the reason I'm mentioning this, Initialize, is because this is more of a footnote in this game, the Kiana fact, because Ezreal is definitely becoming the talk of the town for us in this series.
Just ban Ezreal. You cannot give either of these ADCs Ezreal. That is
good
3
at it.
games in a row where the Ezreal has ruined the other team's chance to win in this game. Utah went 13-0-7 in this game, did 5k in a team fight at like 24 minutes, had a Muramana pre-15, like it was done, man. You just can't give any of these players this champion.
The fact that he was able to get first blood, go back to base, get a tier, and then come back into lane, it almost felt over that the laning phase for the bot lane of Rascal Jester, but they found ways to prevent things from going really bad. But let's be real, this was a game where it was kind of the battle of mutual objectives for Rascal Jester, where they were trying to get the turrets, whereas Detonation FocusMe were finding a few picks and kills. The first big team fight didn't really come until Dragon Soul came up. We had brief moments where it looked like it was going to be far bloodier than it really was. But before we get on to that first big team fight, we have to really talk about the fact that at least Rascal Jesters had an opposite side of the map where there was a bit of hope, and it was placed onto this rookie top laner.
Yeah, because early on, Utapon went 3-0. He got Hachimetra in the jungle a little later on. There was some kills in bot side when Steel turns up to get the secret. So, like, Ezreal's at 3-0. On the other side, though, Hachimetra and Kinatu paired up so well to put the hurt onto Ebby. It turns out that if you can chain up Impale with Fed Urgot, who's got Titanic Hydra in inventory, and he gets to pull off Fear Beyond Death, there's not a lot you get to do as a Gragas who's not had a chance to build anything like a stopwatch. He dies a couple times down by the bot lane tier 2 and up by the top lane tier 1. It gets Kinatu a lot of gold because he gets a lot of turrets. He gets 1 in top, 2 in bot lane eventually. And that means at least they have a win condition. Someone who is strong, like it was a strong Urgot who was winning in the 1v1 and the 2v2s, right? But that was more problematic in team fights when you don't get to survive very long against all that damage. Especially not if you can't get close enough to do the damage in the first place. And you're in a bounce house as you try to walk forwards.
Yeah, I mean, the first big team fight that happened more came from obviously Arya getting caught out or kind of trying to go for their flank of the flank that was the extra flank, and it was that third dragon.
Yes.
It wasn't a huge bloody outcome at the end. Lots of members are able to get out. Obviously, Rascal Jesters kind of run towards the end of that with the tails between their legs, still able to escape with a few members. Arya and Utapon, obviously, though, causing some issues. It was a 3-for-1 at the end of everything said and done. But it's around this Dragon Soul where it really starts to heat up, and Detonation FocusMe push Rascal Jesters to the absolute limit.
Yeah, they do. At this point, Utapon's at critical mass, frankly. He's got a lot of kills. He got a Muramana transformation pre-15 minutes because he got to back at level, but pre-minion spawning, basically, with first blood gold to pick up a tier. To start off the lane, which is always a terrifying problem if you're facing against an Ezreal like that, because you get Muramana so damn early, and he runs away with it from there, honestly. And this fight, you know, there have been a couple fights where they tried to get onto Arya. Slippery, still got the supreme display of talent before he died. All that kind of things made things difficult, even if it was a bit more even. This one, DFM just go in. Kinatu, they get and they continue to push up, but Utapon is just free firing. They get an Impale onto Gragas, who's tanky enough at this point to still get a cask off and still cause chaos. Kazu comes around on a long flank, gets onto Salt. He does die for it, but it's still buying space for Arya and Utapon. Arya had got chunked out earlier on in the fight, but he's still alive, still around, and gets to play around with his grass terraform on the W. And Utapon is just untouched with so many items. He gets to murder everyone. Kinatu is not tanky at this point in the game. He's built damage, and yes, he's got a lot of HP, but when you've got this amount of damage from the double AD characters from DFM, it became really difficult. Sol got excited briefly, but he then just got like nailed by a Q and a double Q, an Edge of Ixtal, and a Mystic shot, and his health bar just disappeared. He couldn't stand and fight ever in these team fights.
Oh, and that's part of the problem when you have an immobile AD carry. Sadly, they weren't able to make up for the issues that they did have. And this kind of really gets emphasized when we think about that extended Baron fight. The fact that this fight went on for so long and DetonatioN FocusMe were like, well, let's do this. Let's not do this. Let's do this. The moment they actually claim that Baron, well, Utapon's ultimate plus Q essence flux was just absolutely backbreaking. Members of the Rascal Jesters were just falling left, right, and center, and DetonatioN FocusMe collapsed, almost as if they were angry for the fact that this game went longer than 28 minutes. It was still a 28-minute and 40-second game, and this is feeling like I might be correct about my prediction, Initialize. I'm feeling good about it, but we've had two games where we've had two games that have been very DFM focused and one game very Rascal Jester focused, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been blue side wins every time. It's been Ezreal wins every time. It's been Ezreal snowballing every time. I don't know whether that's just AD carries getting fed early on and then running away with it because it's Utapon and Sol who are just really good, or whether it's just Ezreal being really powerful in the current meta and it might be worth considering a ban, honestly, if you're on red side. But what are you leaving open to do that? Difficult to call. I will say once again, Jester did a decent job of at least keeping the gold even if they were seeding a lot of problems elsewhere. Like Arya and Utapon were the ones getting the gold, even if it was like on the other side, like Recap and Sol were a little further behind. And yes, the gold is even, but where is that gold distributed is more of a problem. I think it will be interesting what happens in this next game and whether some of these trends are going to be bucked in this one, because it's now match point. DFM got 2 games to win this whole series, and Rascal Jesters need this next win.
After this break, we will be right back with potentially the penultimate game of this series, or will it actually be the final if DetonatioN FocusMe are able to claim it? We will find out as soon as you do, but it will have to be right after this break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen.